YouTube, what's going on? It's Lee again, licensed to drive, and I'm at my new filming location, and I think that this is a pretty nice, picturesque place. Perfect place to talk to you about my Tesla Model Y performance. Where to start? Well, one is dirty. That's not cool, but I will take care of that once I get home, so let's ignore that. But Model Y performance. Overall, I feel pretty good about the purchase. When I got it, it did have a couple dings. There was a scratch right here on the door that they had to take away. There was, I think, another scratch here. I don't know if it was like from delivery, but there was a humongous paint dimple right here. Where is it? About right here. And they had to sand it and then respray it. And that took about a month or two to get out. So in that time, I had developed some health issues back in 2020. By the way, this is 2020 Model Y Performance Stealth. What does that mean, Stealth? It has 20-inch wheels, but it is a performance, as you can see here with the red line. Okay, so this is what they consider a Stealth. It has the 20-inch wheels instead of the 21-inch wheels, and the red brakes are actually covers from Abstract Ocean, which look really good. A maximum range of 315 miles, and of course it does not get that now. So it's nice, good looking interior, black of course. Seats fold flat. Hold on just a second, let me just stop this podcast. We'll just blurt that out. So storage is fine. Like I said, like all Teslas, they have great storage. Seats fold flat. Has a nice little storage container, the GoPro right there. All the storage you need. But overall, you know, the car is pretty nice. Carbon fiber spoiler. Here on the inside, I added metal aluminum pedals. I added that. The other modification that I did was the cover for the for that shiny black. We removed that, and also I added a matte finish screen guard. This is a full self-driving car, so I will do some demos on that as well. But overall, not bad. The Model Y is probably the best daily driver ever made. It has everything you could possibly want in a daily. It has all the technology in the world. It doesn't have Apple CarPlay. No, it doesn't. But it does have a very good navigation system, Google-based, of course. And what it is lacking in feel, one, it makes up in performance. Two, it makes up in value. And what do I mean by that? Well, the value of it is it's expensive. Indeed, it is. But what people don't realize with EV ownership is that there isn't any overhead. There isn't any cost associated with tune-ups and oil changes and things like that make the car, that add to the cost of the maintenance, of upkeep of the car. You know, yesterday I bought almost $2,000 worth of tires, and that was the only thing that I had to buy that was a consumable. So ownership is not that expensive in relation to the overall maintenance of the car. So as far as driving the car, well, we can always go, you know, explore that, and we're going to do that right now. Like I said, you know, when you're really punching it all 502 horsepower is available to you at zero, which is fantastic. But after a while, it kind of gets old because you can't use all 502 horsepower at the same time, which is fine. I don't expect anyone to do that. And same thing with the GT3 RS. You can't use all the power at once, which is fine on its face. But this is not what that car is for. It's the best daily in the world. And what that means is it can get you from work and home as comfortable as possible. You don't need to worry about, traffic because the car drives itself. You don't have to worry about parking because the car parks itself. It does everything it needs to do. Well, so that is tremendous value. It is, I always tell people, it's kind of like driving your cell phone. That's what this is. This is not, in my opinion, something that you should enjoy driving. This is something that you should have because you need to drive. And that's why this is probably the best daily in the world. So let's go back to the ownership experience. When I got it, it had those issues, and we already talked about that. And it was kind of disappointing. I mean, I've had a Tesla before. This is my second Tesla. I had a Model X previously. But what bothered me initially was the fact that I did have, those issues that I just talked about earlier. But once they got fixed, the car is fine. The car has been fine. I have several rock chips from driving on the highway to work back and forth, and that's expected. But overall, everything's been fine. Oh yeah, some idiot did hit me one time when I was at work, a DoorDash driver, and that really pissed me off. And he took off the front end, so I do have a front. I had to get my front end replaced and painted, and so I did get depreciated value for that. But that was really upsetting too, and that happened in 2021. So that being said, the ownership experience has been okay. Would I buy another one? Absolutely. But I own this one, so I probably don't need to buy one ever again. But yeah, eventually, I would like to get a Plaid. But right now, as y'all know, I got the GT3 RS, which is more than enough, more than enough car right now. So that satisfies the speed itch. But as far as the technology itch, this absolutely covers it. It does everything you could possibly want it to do. It's fast. It drives itself. It parks itself. This is full self-drive on this particular car. I'm part of the early access program, so I have all the bells and whistles when it comes to driving on the street, and I can demo that at another time for you guys. But when it comes to this car, I think people don't really understand what this is in relation to the industry. This Model Y is literally going to change the whole way electric cars are perceived. Right now, you can't even get one of these, this one, for almost a year and a half. And I can sell this car right now with 30,000 miles for probably $80,000 or maybe $75,000. And that's because they're so in such high demand. So when it comes to driver engagement, as far as how it drives, because this is licensed to drive, I have to be honest with you, it doesn't drive well. It doesn't. It drives like, well, before I tell you how it drives, let me explain to you how it drives. We're on a street right now in Atlanta. It soaks out the bumps for the most part, but it's uncharacteristically stiff for a non-sporty version of a EV. This is a performance Model Y, but it doesn't have the performance suspension, so it kind of handles terribly. It kind of wallows in the turns. It soaks up the bumps and it kind of crashes over bumps instead of going over it. And I get it that, for a guy that likes this suspension, I get that it should not behave this way, but for the value this car cost, air suspension should have been standard. It just should have, just for $76,000, you really need air suspension. Or some type of 2-mode active suspension or what have you. So, the car behaves when it comes to steering, it's kind of all over the place. Straight is straight, and that's fine. But when it goes through the turns, it's not fun to do. You don't have the confidence you need when you have a 502 horsepower EV, and that takes kind of the fun out because you don't really know what the car can do. Even though you can feel the weight under you as far as with the battery pack, you can definitely feel that. But as far as driving fast, and this, it's more of a straight line thing, and that's fine. It's just kind of one-dimensional. And for an EV, that's just basic cookie cutter. Teslas tend to be that way. They never are meant to take corners or brake wonderfully, like Plaid. So you're kind of stuck with, a very quick, straight up and down vehicle that can go extremely quickly. This car does 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, which is fantastic. But then once you get past that, you start looking at other things. Like, the fact that when you're charging, you can watch a movie on Netflix or Hulu, or watch something on TikTok if you're 5 years old, or if you're, watch YouTube, like my channel, Licensed to Drive. You can do all those things in the car. One of the things you can do is, you need to get away from your kids, you can go into your garage and watch a movie on Netflix, and it's like having your own little personal home theater in your garage. So those are some of the benefits of having a Tesla. All Teslas can do these things. But the Model Y takes that to the next level because it has all the storage capability that the Model 3 doesn't. The Model X definitely does, and the Model S definitely does in a surprising manner. But when it comes to 3 and Y, I wouldn't understand why you would choose a 3, in my opinion. This is the better model. Just like the Model X is the best Tesla. So the question is, should you buy a Model Y? And that answer is yes, emphatically yes. It's the best daily driver you could get. It does have some pitfalls, but things that are lacking, it for far ways makes it up for in its performance. Its intended use as far as being sustainable, sustaining the earth, and giving you the kind of EV experience that's easy to use and easy on the wallet. The performance is clearly, hands down, second to none. And the driving dynamics are, the only really thing that the car is lacking. Other than that, the car is worth every single thing that you can possibly, every single penny that you can pay for it. And that right there is something that's worth the subscribe button. So go ahead and smash that subscribe button right now, because I'm telling you right now, if you can get your hands on one of these, rent one on Turo, beg your friend that you have one, if you can borrow it, take it out for a ride, it's worth every single penny. This car is literally the best car you can buy today. So, for Licensed to Drive, I'm Lee. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace. Thank you for supporting our channel. Please hit the subscribe button for more great content.